It's been just over 1 year since Superstorm Sandy pummeled the East Coast, causing major damage and devastation.
If the storm had stayed another hour or two, we wouldn't have had a house.
Maureen Healy's house in Milford, Connecticut is right on the Long Island Sound, and it suffered heavy damage from the storm.
Filled with sand, 4 feet of sand everywhere, everywhere. This room had stuff in it, silt and sand. And you couldn't get in your driveway, it was 4 feet of sand. You couldn't get in your doors.
But Maureen and her husband, Mike, were lucky enough to rebuild, unlike many others.
We were just very, very lucky because a friend of Mike's came in, he was a builder, and like the second day we were here, he came in and priced everything for us. Every nail, every board, every single thing, like 25 pages of damage that had been done.
For most people, power outages were the major problem. According to the National Weather Service, Sandy caused more than 8.5 million households to lose power, and it took 10 days to achieve 95% of restoration. But for many other survivors whose houses had crumbled, relief and the opportunity to rebuild has yet to come.
It's a very complicated process when you deal with the destruction that we've seen. And what's particularly tough for people in a community like Milford is along the shoreline, this storm is still so real, and some of these houses are just completely destroyed.
Oh, it's sad. It really is sad because they're friends of ours, too, that can't fix their house.
According to the American Red Cross, many people have not been able to rebuild due to a variety of issues.
When you have a house that is significantly damaged and a family needs to make repairs, they run into issues beyond just coming up with the dollars to repair that house. There are building code and zoning issues that are triggered when a certain amount of damage or renovations takes place on a property.
And as for relief efforts from FEMA?
FEMA is not available really for most people. I don't know who they're helping. I know they're helping some people. I know they are.
There are so many layers to an individual's recovery, not just the rebuilding, but rebuilding their lives emotionally, economically, and needs continue to pop up.
When the opportunity to rebuild presents itself, residents are taking necessary precautions for future storms.
Everything in the house is built differently. The windows are to sustain all kinds of wind, and yeah, the house is much more stable. We've had everything reinforced.
But even after rebuilding, the memory of Sandy will never wash away.
This storm has changed people's lives forever, and they'll rebuild and they'll recover, but it's always going to be a painful memory for people.
And they're afraid of every wave they hear. I guess that goes on for a long time, the fear of hearing waves.
Although it's been 1 year since Superstorm Sandy, there is still major damage. But the Red Cross say it will take time. The Red Cross is still in Missouri, Haiti, and now the Philippines, but they are trying their best to help where it's needed. In Milford, Lauren Purnell, QNN.